Honestly, I can't stand being the bearer of bad news, but there are about, well, not just seven, way more than seven. But today we're going to emphasize about seven. There are seven grocery items that are not so cheap anymore to get these days. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money and More Jan channel. Yes, I love to reflect upon and learn about times of the depression. How did folks get through it? How did they get through it with their budgets? What did they eat? What did they make from scratch? A lot of the scratch items these days, right now, they're not so cheap anymore. They're just not. Now we could try to make it a little bit better in some of the choices that we make when we make some purchases. We could talk about that in a few minutes, all right? But for right this minute, I want to go down the list right now. Boxed cereals, usually the type that kids like. Wow, the prices of those cereals, in my honest, are way out of control. Way out of control. They're not even necessarily good for you. Loaded with extra sugar, lots of goodness knows laboratory terminology on the back of the box. I know they're colorful, I know they're cute to look at, but let me tell you something. They're not cheap. If you think you're going to get a bargain on box cereal, the national brands that are out there today, you're going to get less of it than a few years ago. And it's just, in my opinion, it's not the greatest, healthiest choice. But maybe at one time, let's say when I was a kid, maybe those box cereals might have been a deal. But I could tell you this much, definitely within the last couple of years, not a bargain. No way. If you're going to get them, you got to get them on sale. Got to get them on sale because, in my honest, they could really eat up a lot of your grocery bill. All right. Next, instant non-fat dry powdered milk. There was a time that was looked at as the excuse me, please, as the go-to bargain basement of milk to keep on hand. Oh, it's very convenient and it does the trick. And in my opinion, somehow magically they improve the flavor over the last few years. Plus, there are some tricks that I do to make it better to taste. And I've mentioned this on past shows. I'll mention it again for those who are brand new. If I use instant non-fat powdered milk, when I reconstitute it, make sure it's nice and cold, cold. A little bit of vanilla extract, 1 capful of vanilla extract per whatever you make with it. Like if you make a quart, use 1 capful. More than that, a little more. And you could also add a half a teaspoon of granulated sugar plus that vanilla extract. For some reason, those two combined together, it takes a lot of that different kind of a taste. I can't really describe it. Some people call it chalky. I don't. It's just like it just feels like something's missing. And because the fat is missing, you can replace it with the flavor of the vanilla extract and that little bit of sugar cuts the edge off the flavor. Now that used to be the go-to inexpensive thing to get to keep as a shelf-stable item. While it's convenient to have and I hold it with great merit, it's not that cheap anymore. I would not chalk that up as a cheap item, inexpensive. No, the price of that went up a lot. It just did. If you think about it, it is a convenience food. Maybe we didn't view it that way a few years ago, but the manufacturers of today definitely are because the prices have gone up a lot. All right. Cocoa powder. I don't know how much cocoa powder you use, but what I do when I buy it, because the national brand, the one that we're all familiar with, I'll get the store brand, works just as good. Works just as good. I don't care if the packaging doesn't look the same. I don't care if it doesn't have that pretty brown and gray wrapping to it. I don't care. But if it's going to save me $1 or two, I will get the store brand. So cocoa powder, one of those things you could get the store brand and get away with it, and it still does the same trick. All right. Individual cans of tuna. I don't think it's worth it to buy it that way. I've gotten better prices in my experience if I buy, for example, buy it in bulk because I know I'm going to use tuna no matter what. And I like to keep it in my longer term emergency stockpile anyway. So I get a pretty good deal on the best quality one too, by the way. Um, the 9 can pack, I get a pretty good deal on that. So to me, for a few cents more, it's just worth it. So, and it's more convenient because you have like 9 packs at a time. I mean, 9 cans at a time, which comes in very handy with recipes. Okay. Forget about it. Dehydrated rice. Ay, 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 ay. Look, I was rice phobic myself. Not rice phobic to eat, rice phobic to cook from scratch. It's not a hard process. It really is not. And I used to only and always buy the minute type dehydrated. Around where I am, that price is ridiculous. A lot cheaper to go the regular rice route. I'm not saying I don't like the other one. I'm not saying it's not easy and convenient and fast. It is. However, you could get a rice cooker or you could just still learn how to do it from scratch without a rice cooker. The recipes are all over the place. Check them out and save a bundle. Compare the numbers. If you are trying to stretch your grocery budget and you're always buying the other one, it's way more money. Way more money. I'm not saying it's not good, but it's way more money. Okay, think about it. To me, ground beef and even ground turkey. I don't care what anybody says. People might think, oh, it's still a bargain. Ground beef and ground turkey has gone up a lot, and the quality of ground beef has gone down. Ground turkey remained the same quality wise. Ground beef, to me, the quality has gone down. I am not the only person saying this. How many of you out there have noticed that ground beef, even if you pay more money and get the so called better cuts, either they're just cutting more closely to the bone and you're finding more bone chips and gristle or whatever you call that thing. Ugh. The minute I ever come across that when I'm eating it, that's the end of the meal for me. It just turns me off, not going to lie. That is a huge turn off to the person that's supposed to be enjoying it. And I don't get the cheaper cut of meats either. Okay. I go for the better brand, so called, and still you could find it. Has anyone else besides myself noticed that? Let me know this in a comment section below. This is very important. All right. Peanut butter. Peanut butter, the national brands. I'm not saying it's not still it's a great way to get a lot of protein on the cheap. Are. But it's not necessarily cheap to purchase, okay? Because I have noticed the price of peanut butter has gone up. So you live with the store brand. It doesn't have to be the national brand label that you used to. To me, peanut butter is peanut butter, but not really. There are different styles of peanut butter. So you have to figure out the style that you and your family love the best and try to work around the price. But peanut butter could be pricey. I don't even want to talk about eggs because no matter what I say regarding eggs, it'll be somebody saying, oh, but the price went down. Look, eggs are a bargain no matter what. Okay, eggs are a bargain because you could do 1,000 things with it. Well, okay, not 1,000, maybe 7 or 8. But you could do a lot of things with it protein wise. So it's still a good deal. I could go on and on and on about other things that have gone up at the grocery store that we used to consider so cheap. We used to consider, let's go over this. We used to consider the box cereals as a cheap thing. We used to consider non-fat powdered milk as the cheap thing. We used to consider cocoa powder relatively inexpensive. Uh, Individual can of tuna was considered, oh, what a deal. But the cans have shrunken since those days. Where's the deal? Okay, and that's my opinion. It's my belief. Rice was the cheapest thing on planet Earth. If you play your cards right, it's still a value to you. If you play your cards right and not just only eat the instant one, that's where you're losing money. The convenience. Okay, ground beef, to me, the quality of ground beef has gone down. Now, ground turkey is convenient. I've never worried about a bone chip in my ground turkey. I've never had it, but it is an acquired taste. And there is that, to me, you could doctor it up a little bit, but there's still that little bit of an off taste to it. So if you could get used to the off taste to it or season it up, if you season it up, it certainly distracts from that off taste. Okay. I'm just saying, I've made ground turkey meatloafs and they came out great. And I distracted the flavor by using, let's say, a little bit of tomato sauce, not ketchup, tomato sauce inside of my ground turkey recipe with some seasonings. And to me, it really helps in that area, in that department, with that off taste. So, anyway, that's my opinion. But there are a whole bunch of other things too, and I probably will get into it again in a future show. Thank you so very much for being here. I certainly appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to come back every single day. When? 5 o'clock in the morning. I go round and around and around like a spinning top. I cannot be stopped. I'm on every single day, a brand new upload, 365 days of the year, every single day. Take good care of yourself and your amazing family. And of course, super thanks are forever welcome. Thank you.